Hello, everyone. We have had an absolute nightmare. I mean, I can't remember the last stream we did, Sam, where it actually went well. Literally, for anyone that cares, Sam would come on to the image and then she'd like move off the screen and just everything would die. And we don't know why. So if it happens again, that's the reason. But we are here. How are you, Sam? You said everything else is going wrong for you today as well. No fondant, I heard.
Right, I'm having a nightmare. So I booked the day's holiday today. So, I'm here especially for you. I'm actually not supposed to be working today, but, it's you. So here I am.
Good
This
commitment.
morning, I get up, take the kids to school, go to get fondant. They've run out of the colour I needed. So I'm like, oh, God, okay, fine. I'll have to go to another shop.
I
It's Evie's birthday tomorrow,
I
hence
don't know
making cakes.
how you cope without the right fondant. To be honest, that is
It's difficult, right? I mean, you try explaining to Evie that it's not stitch colour, it's wrong colour. Anyway, never mind. So I think, well, I'll go to my spin class. After that, I'll go to Sainsbury's instead. Other supermarkets are available. I go to my spin class. The instructor doesn't turn up because her car tyre has blown up.
Oh, no.
So I was like, well, that's just great, isn't it? So I tried to do it with this online instructor that they'd set up. It was terrible because none of it matched up. So what he was saying and what we were seeing on the screen were not the same thing. So we all left. We all went to the gym. So I did that, which I didn't want to do, but nonetheless did that. Came out to the Van der Ven and Maddison out till the New Year news. And I was like, what even is today? I did manage to get some fondant in the end.
I mean, this is honestly, this is like bloody doing it with Mark Southerns talking about his Waitrose deliveries. This is first world problems to new level.
A supermarket is where you go and buy food. Fondant is what you ice a cake with, and a spin class, it's an exercise class on bikes.
Sam, it doesn't say what is a supermarket. It says what supermarket.
Oh, Sainsbury's.
Explaining what a supermarket is.
This morning. Oh, well, I went to Tesco's first, and they didn't have the right shade of blue.
Well,
boycott. So at one point,
boycott Tesco.
And the thing is, though, normally I make my own fondant, and then this week I was like, I'm so busy that I'm just gonna buy it in the shop, and it's been so stressful that I wish I'd just made my own.
The comments have started well. Hi everyone, don't worry, we aren't going to spend the whole time talking about fondant, although we really should. A few people saying I'm in the dark. Yeah, it's really dark all of a sudden.
You are dark.
Yeah, I've got a ring light on, so like my features are quite sort of bright, but then everything else is.
Tell Yelena to come put the light on.
Yeah, I know. Maybe she should. No, it's all right. I quite like being in the dark. It frames my too short shave that I did the other day. Hi to everyone in the chat. We've got lots to talk about with Spurs. We've got lots to talk about with lots of other players as well. Get us your questions in. We will answer as many as we can. Get your super chats in, and we will answer those kind of as a priority. Lots of people asking what supermarket is or what groceries are, and all that kind of stuff. Lots of people talking about my score. Yes, I got 11 points. We've moved on from that now. Yes, I had a.
Can we ask what is the Daily Star? Is that another question?
What is the Daily? Yeah, who cares? A Daily Sport, actually, not the Daily Star.
Oh, a Daily Sport.
I'm not at the Daily Star.
My bad.
Level. Not the Daily Star level yet. Yes, I did have a rank drop of nearly 1 million from 2.5 million, but it's fine.
I actually don't think that's too bad, given you got 11.
Yeah, well, don't patronise me.
I didn't mean that how it came out. I just meant that to lose only 1 million actually doesn't feel horrendous when you've had the world's worst game week that you've ever had. That's all I meant by that. I wouldn't mean to be rude.
Pretty bad. Daniel Abe says, what happened to your beard? Yeah, wrong setting on the beard trimmer. So it went, like literally I did one, well, I say obviously you don't know, Sam, but you do one thing on the beard trimmer and you know quickly that you've made a mistake. There's no going back from it. So you just got to own it. Let's get into the main question. So big question. Maddison's out. He's going to be out until January. Big news, horrible news for Spurs. We've already got about, 8 first-team players out, something like that. So, yeah, Maddison. What do we do with Maddison? I've got Maddison. Who do I send it for, Sam? Come on. I need your wisdom.
I'm going for Anthony Gordon.
That's a lot of money saved.
Yeah, well, that's just a bonus. Like,
yeah, I was just putting a lie on.
Thanks, Yelena, you legend. I wish she'd appeared in the background while she was doing that.
Obviously in the mirror. You look harder.
Yeah. I'm going for Anthony Gordon, but I'm doing that for a number of reasons. One, because I just think that the Newcastle fixture is nice. He's really cheap. He enables me to make moves elsewhere. Means that I can kind of I can upgrade Dan Burn. I could upgrade Cameron Archer. I can use the money better. I did want to go to Saka, But my concerns with Saka are that, well, there's a lot of concerns with Saka. Martinelli's the other option.
I'm looking at Martinelli.
As my tech is really bad. I can't. I think there's a massive delay.
Again, what, really? I haven't said anything.
Say something now.
Hello?
Yeah. It's about 3 or 4. It's quite a big gap.
Okay, hang on.
What is going on today?
Everything. I think I know why, though. I think I can...
It was working fine.
Yeah, I can fix this. Don't panic.
Okay.
Don't panic. Actually, panic a little bit.
Hold the line, everyone, while we have more of our tech issues
Hang on.
to deal with
One sec.
today.
Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Am I
think we're right now.
Am I laggy? Can you hear
No.
yourself twice? No?
We're all right now.
We're good?
What the hell, Az?
Sorry,
Honestly,
everyone.
sorry guys. I'm really sorry. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on.
It seems to be some issues your end this time for a change. Normally it's me, but yeah, very strange. Anyway, we are back. Exceedingly good content, says Sam Bonford. People are here for the tech issues. I literally I don't know why it's doing it. There's no reason for it to be like it is. Everything's set up right, but I've jig some settings around. Hopefully, everyone says. Apparently, Delia says they can hear you better now. So switching to clean feed, I think, has fixed it. At least I've got some fixes now. I've kind of got some like magic to like, when things go wrong, I've got a few kind of hot fixes that maybe work or they don't. But anyway, we're here. Good to see you all. Right, sorry, what were you saying about, you're about to talk about Martinelli, who I think is going to be my transfer this week.
Yeah, so I was going to go for Martinelli. That's my other option, but the uncertainty around Arsenal and the injuries that they've got there has kind of put me off a little bit investing in Martinelli, just because I'm not really sure who's going to be playing around him, and whereas with Anthony Gordon, I think we know what we're going to get a bit more, but it's a straight choice between those two for me. Those are the two that I'm looking at.
They do surpass themselves week after week with tech issues.
I just don't understand. But what's worse about this is that we both successfully do multiple other streams.
No, I don't know about successfully.
No, we do.
I don't.
Then we come together and it all goes completely wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something my end, but it's stream's so good we can see as his shave results. Very good. Yeah, no, I like the Gordon pick. I think Gordon's excellent, and with Wilson and Isak probably out, he's probably going to play up front.
Well, that's it. He might play in the number 9, mightn't he?
Yeah.
So.
Yes, Matt Francis. You ever seen a black box, Sam? Yeah, exactly.
I'd
love to say it's just this stream, but yeah, it's not. FPL Tic Tac says pretty sure it'll be Martinelli. Yeah, I can't get to Saka without a hit, so I think it's going to be Martinelli for me. I'm hoping. I mean, Burnley play aggressively. I don't think they're going to sit back. Means more space for the wingers. Martinelli, I thought, was excellent in Europe. He looks back to his best now, and I think if Saka was training and fit and we knew he was going to play, I'd take the hit and get him in. But my rank's so low, I just can't risk it. I can't risk bringing in a player who's got a flag. So yeah, I think it's going to be Martinelli for me. Yupsom says bring in Ferguson as a punt. Just signed a new contract, 2019, which is nice. What do you think of him? Sheffield United at home? He'll probably start.
This is one more. Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think about? Is he going to start?
He's a risk in the kind of mid to long term, I think, but I'm almost certain he will start against Sheffield United. So if you're looking for a 1 week punt, I really like it. You're going to worry about him every week though, whether he's going to start, because we've got João Pedro, we've got Fatty, when Welbeck's back. There's lots of options, but yeah, Greg says it's a 1 week punt, so yeah, go for it. I'm pretty sure he'll start. But then again, last time I said that, I said it about João Pedro last week, and he didn't start. So take what I say.
But we also said a lot of things about Brighton last week, and none of them were right.
Yeah, I mean, because Fatty's got to start as well. I mean, he's just getting
played so well yesterday,
getting better and better every game I see him, and his best positions are either up front or on the left. So. I don't think he starts again, but I wouldn't be too surprised if he did. Former FC, what about Son to Saka? Would you bring in Saka this week? I think that's a good question.
No, I don't have Saka, and I'm not bringing him in this week.
Oh, there you go.
I can risk it.
There you go.
There's so much uncertainty about him. Like, half the things you listen to from Arteta seem to be suggesting that he's not trained at all. Others suggest that he did train today. I think there's enough uncertainty that I can't go with one injured player to another. But I don't think you can, and I know that this one's from Sonny to Saka, but you've got a player that is guaranteed to play for a player that may not.
Yeah. There's just something a bit off with Saka, isn't there? Like he had the kind of the injury concerns. He kind of came back. He's not had a shot in the last 2 game weeks. His XGI is really low. I know obviously he got a goal and an assist in the Champions League, but that's, I don't know. There's something not quite. And then Arsenal got other injuries. Well, we don't know if Odegaard's going to be back. Will Nketiah play? I just think moving Son, who has been like he could have had 2 goals against Chelsea, just offside, and then obviously created that great chance for himself with 9 men and nearly scored. He's just not someone that I'd want to lose. So no, I wouldn't. Particularly
now he's going to be so important in that. I mean, he's always been important in that Spurs attack, but with no Maddison, no Richarlison, it's going to be him, Brennan Johnson and Kulusevski up there, probably with Lo Celso maybe in behind. So if that's the way that we're going to play, then he's going to be increasingly important for getting goals. And I think, yes, the Arsenal fixture is great. And look, I've been talking for weeks about how this was the moment I was going to invest in double Arsenal. My original plan was for Saka. Then I didn't want to sell Son. So now it was like, okay, well now my plan is for Nketiah. But then there's so much uncertainty and he obviously wasn't part of the Champions League squad. So all of that stuff is playing in the back of my mind. I do like Martinelli as a pick, and he'd be the one I would go to now from Arsenal.
Yeah.
But I do have some slight concerns, because if Saka doesn't make it and Odegaard's not there and Nketiah's not there, that's a lot of the firepower disappearing out of that Arsenal team. So I think, it's made me a little bit more wary of investing in the Gunners heavily, and that's what's made me look at Anthony Gordon instead.
I think if Nketiah's not there, though, you could argue that boosts Martinelli, because it means Trossard's going to be the false nine. And I don't think Martinelli's got any points when Nketiah's been on the pitch. It seems to kind of stunt him a little bit, because Nketiah plays so far up, whereas Trossard drops deep a little bit.
Because Martinelli's best performance is always seems to come when Gabriel is on the pitch, and obviously he's injured as well. So I think Nketiah is incredibly selfish, and from an FPL perspective, that's brilliant for us, because that's what we want, right? Yep. We want players that are going to come in and be selfish and score points. But I don't know, that a bit like with Spurs, there's a lot of uncertainty around that Gunners team going into the weekend's action. So I wouldn't be selling Son to get Saka in.
Yeah.
If it's Maddison, it's different. Yeah. But not for Son.
No, I agree. Boston Mike has given us a super chat. Thank you very much. Maddison to Son, Eze, Martinelli or Bowen. Thinking of this as a medium-term transfer for 3 weeks. Already have Salah, Saka, Matoma and Gordon. I mean, that comes back to kind of what we're saying a bit on Maddison kind of replacements. Would you sell Maddison to Son and keep that kind of Spurs coverage, or would you move to Martinelli or Bowen? I like all three. I think any three should do well.
I like all three too. I really like the Bowen pick. I've got Bowen, and I really like that as a pick. I think he's been so he's just so good, and he's so important in that West Ham team. And I think with Paqueta and Alvarez back in the starting 11, you'd imagine after their suspensions for West Ham, with Kudus finding rhythm and form now, it feels like an opportunity with Bowen. Like it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Antonio on the bench and Bowen or Kudus playing through the middle, and Bowen maybe is more naturally suited to do that, with Kudus going out in Bowen's spot. If Bowen's in the middle, then that makes him an even better option in my view from FPL. So I really like Bowen. I love Martinelli. He was my differential on the FPL pod this week. I think he's a fantastic option. And like you say, particularly if you're chasing rank, it's 5%, 5.1% owned. Like, he's really low. Everything he's doing is right at the moment. He's finding that form that when we all had him last year that we loved about him. And then there's Son, who I think is a good option. I think it's difficult to invest in Spurs right now, given the injury crisis that we have going on, plus also the suspensions that we have. But Son is kind of the exception to that rule, because he's going to start. He's the form player. With the injuries that we have now, I would be surprised if anyone else took a penalty, given the personnel that we're going to have left. So he will be on penalties now, I would have thought. We still don't know, because Spurs haven't had one. And Spurs will want to bounce back. So it's tough. I think Bowen is my preferred of the three, to be honest.
Well, there's four. There's Son, Eze, Martinelli or Bowen. What would your ranking be?
I put Eze last.
Yeah, same.
And that's not because I don't like him as a player. It's because I don't like Crystal Palace in attack. I'm not convinced that they score that many goals. I love them clean sheets. Anderson, Gahey, Mitchell, take your pick. But going forward, I don't love them. I'd probably go Bowen. Based on fixtures, I'd probably go Bowen, Martinelli, Son.
Wow, Son third. Yeah, I guess you've got to factor in the fact that Maddison's creativity is going to be a massive miss for Spurs.
Yeah, because Lo Celso, who's probably the most natural replacement for Maddison, isn't anywhere near as creative as Maddison. Yeah. So there will be a big gap there. There'll be a big gap.
I think if I had Saka, I'd agree with you. I think I'd go Bowen, Son, Martinelli, Eze as my order. I'm still really happy to have Son. I still think he's got penalties. I still think Tottenham are going to score goals. I know the fixtures aren't amazing on paper, but Wolves next. I expect them to score in that, and then Villa with the high line they've got. I think Son could get some joy in that game. So I'm happy to have one Spurs player, but yeah, I think Bowen does look really good. So I'll probably put him a little bit further up. Let's take some other questions. Bruno Fernandes, seeing him getting some investment this week. Home game against Luton, but 4 yellow cards. But could he be a good option this week? Oh, Sam, where have you gone? Where have you gone? Excellent. Sam has gone. No idea why. Sam? I tell you, Sam is having issues today with tech. You can hear me. That's good. See, it's not me for once, which is nice. I play Bruno. Yeah, even the mention of Bruno Fernandes has ruined the stream. Sam's pulled the plug out. She could well have done. Hang on, everyone. We're back. I don't know what is going on with you today, Sam. I absolve myself of all responsibility this stream.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. All the bars just disappeared, and I was like, I can see you. I can see you're speaking to me, and I've got no idea what you're saying to me.
Dennis Robertson. I'm laughing at people be watching this back thinking, wow, them 2 hours, they must have got through loads. Yeah, absolutely nothing. Samuel Singaz, I pulled the plug out. Can you just turn off the stream for a bit? So it looks like it was a test tube. That's exactly what happened, a vigorous pigeon. Yeah.
There was no plugs pulled out, but you do still keep cutting in and out. So if I don't answer you, that's why.
Oh, God. Well, let's just get through the next 15 minutes.
It.
Let's just get through the next 15 minutes. What do you think about Bruno?
Oh, Bruno, I don't think we should... No. Even against Luton, I just think he's too much money. Why'd you spend that much money on Bruno? I know it's Luton, but... And I know he got a goal last week, but I haven't been impressed by Manchester United at all in recent weeks. And yes, he scored another worldie. But the problem is Bruno does this, doesn't he? Because a few weeks ago, if you remember, when we all still owned him, he scored that worldie goal. And then we all went, oh, okay, we'll keep him for a bit longer then. And then he did absolutely nothing for the game weeks that followed. And I look at Manchester United, I look at the issues that they've got, the injuries that they've got, the players that they have available that they aren't playing, like Varane, and think, I don't want to be invested there even if it's Luton.
There is a wise...
If I had him, I'd hold.
There's a wise FPL manager out there called Seb Wassel. I think it was Seb. Yeah. And he said, you don't invest in the team, you invest in the player. I think it was Seb who said that. I guess what that means is, it doesn't matter how bad Manchester United are, Bruno is going to be involved, most likely, in anything they do. Surely they score against Luton. But they have to get... even against... Copenhagen, they were awful, but they still managed to score 2 goals in that match. I just think he scores against. I think he gets something in Luton. I feel the opposite of you. I think as a 1 week punt, I think it's a good pick. Home to Luton, he's got to get something.
If I was going to invest though, I'd go for Højlund instead of Bruno.
Oh really? No.
Yeah, I would. I'd take a punt on Højlund because I think there's enough really good midfielders this week. I know that we've got issues with Maddison, but you could sell Maddison for a Bowen, for a Gordon, for, whoever you want. Whereas up top, I kind of think, if I was going to take a punt on Man United, it's Højlund I'd punt on.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's absolutely no way I'd go for Højlund. If I had Saka already and a decent midfield, and I was just looking for someone as a bit different, I quite like it. I'm half tempted myself just to bring Fernandes in this week. But
I'm not sure what that means for everyone else, though.
Well,
if you bring him, what does that mean they should do?
It shows desperation, I think, is what it shows, really. But he scored against Fulham. He gets the max bonus, and he gets a good return. So, yeah, I don't know. It's the fact it's a home game against Luton, but I mean, Luton did really impress, didn't they, in the last game against Liverpool? So
yeah, they did, yeah.
Yeah. Ivo Bosic says McTominay is our top scorer. This is United at the moment. Yeah, it's not about Manchester United though. I expect Manchester United to score at least 2 goals in that game against Luton, and I would expect.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I just. They should. They should score at least 2 goals. I just don't know that they will.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me.
So
they're not great, but I would be surprised if Bruno blanked against Luton at home. Still, even with all the points. John Cale agrees. Filling 11 pointers on the cards for Bruno this week. Yeah, maybe. I think so. Greg Frost says 2-1. I mean, even if it's 2-1, even if it's 2-2, even if it's 1-1, you'd still think that Bruno's got something in that. So, long story short, I don't hate it as well. Although
from McTominay.
Although Big Tips calls out the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and that's us investigating Manchester United assets. Here we go. A question about Simicast. Stephen Ty. Play Simicast or Lascelles. I think that's quite an easy one. But what do you think about Simicast in general? I think he was one of the most bought players in last week, and now everyone's discarded him.
So I think of the two, you play Lascelles because the more likely clean sheet is Lascelles. I think my view on Simicast is that I still think he's their best option while Robertson's out, and I still think that he will start this weekend, even though he started in the Europa League in midweek, because I think that for Liverpool it really didn't work. The formation that they played against Luton just did not work. And playing Trent in the inverted role meant that Salah was really wide. It was just all ineffective, and the game changed for them. I mean, obviously there was the Darwin factor, which we can come on to. I'm sure at some point someone will mention Darwin, but the game changed for them once Simicast came on and played in that back four that they like to play, because that's traditionally how they play best. And so for me, it doesn't actually matter how. Well, of course it matters how bad Simicast was in midweek, but he was playing with a team that were like really poor. It was a really poor Liverpool team, so I don't think you can take the performance in midweek.
He's not the sole reason they lost that game. Like, obviously his mistake led to a goal, but he wasn't.
Yeah, but the rest of the team was bad. It was a bad team. It wasn't Liverpool. Like, it was a very different team. It was very much a rested team. So I don't think you can take that on. What I would say is I thought Liverpool were better when he came on at the weekend. Having said that, I wouldn't buy him this week.
No, I definitely not a buy. I think it's more about, do you bench it? Because obviously Brentford's quite a tough fixture anyway, and there are risks. Yeah. I think if you've got a Lascelles on your bench, you absolutely play him against Bournemouth, because I would expect Newcastle to keep a clean sheet in that one. And I think even if Simicast plays, I think Brentford probably score. So, yeah, I definitely play Lascelles. I mean, I've got Simicast and Udogie and Kabore. So unless
you've got fun.
Unless I, but then I've also got Maddison, and one free transfer. So I've got to prioritise. I think I'm going to get Livramento.
Yeah, I quite like that. There's the Lewis Hall factor, isn't there? But I do like the Livramento pick. I think your Livramento will be the one that starts.
I've been speaking to Ed and like a few other Newcastle fans. I know they just don't think Hall's ready. Like to play.
I don't either. I think he should be playing Livramento.
And I think the fact that Livramento played on both sides in the last game shows the versatility he has. Everyone's worried about Trippier being put over to the left. Well, he can move him over to the right and play Livramento on the left if he wants to. So Livramento's just been so good in the games that he's played. I just don't see how we can leave him out with burnout.
No.
So, yeah, I think he plays. Adam Wells, Estupinan, will he play? Doesn't look like it. Came on, got injured, went off again. He's going to be out. You can't.
It's too risky.
Can't buy him. Can't buy him this one. What else we got? Yeah, Livramento is too good a player not to be rewarded with a start. Yeah.
I agree with that. I think Livramento's been really unlucky, to be honest, that he's not.
It's not like he's had
this
Trippier,
season.
right? Because Trippier has been so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, right back.
Yeah.
He was probably pushing maybe Burn anyway, because I never really thought about Livramento featuring on the left. So I think that position might have been where he maybe saw himself maybe getting into anyway, and taking Burn on for it. Now Burn's out, I think that gives him the opportunity to try and stake a bit of a claim for it. Lots of questions about Maddison, but we've kind of already answered that. I think you would say Bowen is your top transfer priority.
If you don't have Bowen, get Bowen. If you've already got Bowen and you don't have Gordon, get Gordon. If you don't have an Arsenal asset, get Martinelli. I think that's probably how I look at it.
I probably agree with that, to be honest. Yeah, that sounds good. Can Palmer score against City? I mean, he can. Will he?
Could. Don't think he will. I just think that Man City, if anyone's going to score against City, it'll be Palmer. But they were, I was at the Tottenham's game on Monday night. They were so bad for the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, defensively in particular. They were so bad. And then the Romero red card massively changed the game. And then obviously the Udogie red card massively changed the game, and the 5 VAR decisions.
-4.
Anyway, we'll move on.
-4.
Let's move on. No, let's just move on. Let's move on, Az. But what I will say is that Palmer, when I was watching Chelsea, I was not impressed, but I was impressed by Palmer. I thought he was excellent, and he's got, for somebody so young, he's got massive leadership qualities. He's on penalties. He was so calm and confident taking that penalty in front of the South Stand, which is not an easy place to take a penalty. He was really good. So I was impressed by Palmer. I think he could score against City, whether he will or not. I think given the fixture, if you're looking to bench one of your front eight, it's probably him if you've got him, because he's probably your cheapest point of that attack. I think City will comfortably win that game, though.
Yeah, no, so do I. Who's your captain this week?
Haaland, I think.
You're gonna keep it on Haaland?
I think so, yeah.
Interesting.
Because Chelsea's defence was so bad, honestly, as they could not cope. They were so all at sea, and so was Sanchez. And I just think that, that was dealing with like Son and Maddison. And even when we were down to 9 men, their defence was still all over the place. Like they were, if we got up there, and it was if we got up there by that point, they were still just all at sea. And I think if you've got like Haaland and Alvarez and Foden and probably it's Grealish and Bernardo Silva and all of those guys attacking you, I just don't think that they've got the personnel right now to deal with that. They certainly don't have somebody like Craig Dawson or like William Saliba, who they can just go, right, you're on Haaland. They don't have that.
I love that Craig Dawson is mentioned as
comes up all the time now,
yeah,
doesn't it?
I know. I'll never forget that performance from Craig Dawson. He was brilliant. Yeah, and the fact you had 2 opportunities with 9 men, Dyer fractionally offside,
exactly.
and Son with a chance as well. That you would expect him to bury that. I thought he'd scored that.
There was another one as well when we were down to 9 men where it went scooching across the front of goal and it just missed. I think it was Dyer again at the back post, and they were just at sea. And if we'd had 11 players by that point, somebody's in and around that spot, whether it's Maddison, whoever it is, somebody's there and puts that away probably. I just don't think that Chelsea can deal with. I just don't think they'll be able to deal with the Man City attack. Yeah,
no, agreed. Delia says, I would love to take a punt on Trossard, but I'm not sure he'll get too many minutes. My advice with that is just don't bring in players who are going to give you problems later on. Like, Trossard isn't first choice. Nketiah's back in training. Gabriel Jesus is going to be back. Like what? And then you might have him this week. He might not even play this week because Nketiah might start because he has been training. And then you've got Trossard in your team, and then you need to use another transfer to get rid of him. You've got Martinelli, you've got Saka. There's so many other midfielders I'd get over Trossard. There's like 20 other midfielders I'd rather take a punt on. We haven't even mentioned like Matoma, for example, against Sheffield United at home. Like, why would you go for Trossard? I just wouldn't personally.
No.
Oh, Dilly says she's not bringing him in. She'd love to have him, but she's not. Yeah, he'd be fun to own. But
and I think for this week he might actually be a really good pick because I think he might start him this week ahead of Nketiah. I think if it's not, if Nketiah's not 100%, then I could see him giving Trossard the start there. But longer term, it is an issue. and you don't want to be causing yourself headaches. Unless, of course, you've still got your wild card and you're planning to play it over the international break and it's literally a 1 week punt, then I think it's fine. But yeah, otherwise I'd avoid.
Yep. Here we go. Nice easy question. Kaja, do you think Saka will be fit? Do you think he plays?
I mean, they seem to like to play Saka until he's dead.
Yeah.
So if he's available, he'll start, I think. However, I also think that with a week to go till international duty and a relatively straightforward fixture, should be a relatively straightforward fixture for Arsenal, if he's not 100%, then I could see maybe the need to kind of rest him. But the problem is they've got it's really difficult. I don't know is the answer. I'm not convinced that he starts, and that's why I'm not getting him.
Very much sitting on the fence. I think he starts.
It's hard to know though, isn't it? There's so many, like, you listen to the different press conferences, like slightly different bits of it, and it's like some bits Arteta says, and it's kind of like, maybe he's training, and then he says something else, maybe he's not training. Like, it just feels uncertain with Saka.
Yeah. Another question on Adingra, who I've got in my team, who has been a disaster, as most of the players I've bought in have been. Is he going to start? Do you play him? If you've got him, you play him. I think we still don't have another right winger. Buonanotte can play there, but he's barely featured. Adingra was absolutely superb against Ajax. That's the kind of performance that I thought he might put in the Premier League, but of course he hasn't really. He is going off with the Ivory Coast national team, so it's not like he, because if he wasn't, I think De Zerbi could have said, well, we're not resting him for anything because he's going to have 2 weeks off. But he is then going off on international duty. So there is that to consider. But I think he starts. After last night, I'm more confident that he starts because we need to win. We can't drop 4 points against Sheffield United. De Zerbi's highlighted it's an important game, and I think we look to go into the international break with a big win. So you definitely play him if you've got him. And FPL Tic Tacs, I've had a drinker for a couple of weeks and he got his return to the Europa League. Yep. Absolutely. Martin Keenan's going to captain Adingra this week. Whoa. That is a big
What do you think about that?
Wow, no way. No way would I be captaining him. He just isn't. He isn't consistent enough. He isn't delivering consistently. We're not 100% sure he's going to start in that match. We've got injuries like that are going to kind of, even though they're defensive injuries, they still affect the way we play football. When you take out any players in this system, when Dunk comes out, Dunk is so key at getting the ball up from the back. I just worry that there's too much. So no. Harold Mohammed says about Watkins. What about Watkins for captain?
I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. Like, Aston Villa at home, great. But the last couple of weeks since I own Watkins, I think I've broken him, to be honest. He's not returned, and that's not been because he's not been good. I think that's something we should we should say from the outset. He has played well, and he has been quite unlucky, I think, not to return in those matches. However, I don't know. I think Salah's a really good option. I think Haaland's a really good option. Do I think that Watkins outscores either of those two? I'm not convinced. What do you think?
I like it. Maybe a bit more than you do. I think they're averaging what, 3 goals at home this season?
Yeah, but Douglas Luiz will get all 3.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, especially if I captain Watkins. But I don't know. I like it. I think Fulham at home is a great game for anyone. And since I bought him in, he's been awful. But that doesn't make him a worse option. I think he's been unlucky. Whereas Adingra, just to use another example, I don't think he's been unlucky. He just hasn't played that well and hasn't got any returns. Whereas Watkins should have had 2 goals, really, I think, over the 2 games.
See, I think if I was going to go rogue on a captaincy, I'd go for a Bowen or a Gordon.
Gordon. We've had a Trippier suggestion.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Could be on pens as well if Isak and Wilson are out too.
See, I just think that there's quite a few good captain punts this week, and Watkins I don't think is a bad one. Like, to be clear, I'm not saying I think it's a bad option. I just think if I was going to punt outside of Haaland or Salah, Bowen and Gordon would sit higher on my list than Watkins. Yeah,
I was waiting for someone to mention this. I do recall myself and Sam sledged as thinking Brighton were going to beat Everton 3-1. I do believe you said Everton were going to win 3-1 as well. and then it turned out to be a 1-1 draw. So I think we chalk that up to
we'll call it even.
a draw. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were convinced you were going to win.
Yeah.
I was convinced Everton were going to win. So inevitably,
Oh my
it was
God,
gonna
we
be a
should
draw.
have won for 80%, 85% of possession. Do you know we had 82% possession, I think, when we lost to them 5-1 last season as well? Like, God, they are... Dyche has got
make
them
your possession count.
so effective with low possession. It's crazy. Yeah, fair play to them. Brian didn't squeeze, we did. We drew 1-1. Thank you very much. Matoma's cross in the last minute led to an own goal.
It was an own goal, yeah,
Ashley
right
Young.
at the death, because
Yeah.
Everton were about to win it, and I was about to text Az and go, "You see, I told you you're going to lose."
Never write us off. We've always got something. We've got a few more minutes. Any more questions?
I feel like we've been on this stream for about 3 years.
Yeah, I know. I need a drink after this, I think. Are you coming to the Always Cheaters thing tonight?
No, I'm not, because it's, as I said at the beginning of this stream, it's Evie's birthday tomorrow, so I've got to finish baking a cake and I've got to wrap her presents and get everything organised
Make
so
your own
that
fondant.
in the morning. Yeah, exactly. So that in the morning when she wakes up, her little excited face.
Yeah. Oh, bless her. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on mum duty tonight.
Anyone else though who fancies it? Always Cheating, a great podcast.
They're always
hosting-
really good nights out. They're always cheating nights out.
It's at Belushi's in London Bridge. There'll be loads of familiar faces there. I'm going. Mark's going. A few others are going. So yeah, if you do fancy it, if you've got a free Friday night, why not come down to Belushi's? Until what hour, says Delia? I've got no idea. Till late, Delia.
Till late.
Till late.
Late, Delia.
Absolutely.
Plus, it's also the FTAs, isn't it, this week? So coming next week. So I've got to be,
Oh,
on my
yeah.
best behaviour this weekend.
Yeah, I won't be going there. We're sending a representative from Black Box.
As I can't believe you're not coming with me. I love these nights out with you. They
We
always
were.
end up in absolute chaos. Last year, do you remember? You were trying to buy me pizza at 4:00 in the morning.
Last year, I mean, I've only ever seen you drunk once, and you were absolutely off your face at the FCA's last season. You and Tom Freeman were
right at the
absolutely
end.
battered.
It was Tom Freeman's fault. It was Tom Freeman's fault. The man drunk me, and then he's like going to me, "You will drink." So then
Yeah.
the porn star martini started, and then at 4:00 in the morning, I just remember going to you, "As I'm hungry,"
Yeah.
and you just spent your time trying to get me some
We
pizza.
scoured. Where was it? Was it
Manchester.
Manchester. Yeah, we scoured Manchester to try and find some late night pizza, didn't we?
And then fell asleep on my bed, and Jeff and I had to carry you out. Do you
Oh,
remember?
weren't you and Jeff playing like top trumps or something and I fell asleep?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you fell asleep. We had to carry you out.
I curled on the
Brilliant.
edge of the bed like a little
I'm
dog.
actually gutted you're not going to be there this
I
year.
know.
Who am I going to have fun with? Oh, actually, Lee's coming.
Your husband's, yeah.
My husband will be there
He's
next year.
alive.
It's the first time he's come.
You're gonna have to look after our black box representative. I think it's Sachin who's coming on our behalf. It was gonna be Nigel the Crab, but he can't
Yeah, I
make
thought
it.
it was going to be Nigel.
No, it's gonna be
No, sad times.
Sachin's coming, which will be fun. Right, I think we'll call it there. Don't think we've answered
Well,
anyone's
now we've
questions.
gone on a riot about me drinking porn star martini.
Yeah, don't think we've done a good job today, but you know, we'll do what we do. We move, as they say. It's kind of reflective of
I'm
my
sorry, everyone, about my tech.
very funny Matt Francis. 11 p.m. I would think. 11 p.m. 11 points. I get it. We all get it. 11 points. Oh, God, I hope I have a better week than last week. This week.
As it can't look. There's nothing that could happen.
Thank
Nothing
God
could happen
I'm not
could
on
be
the
as
FPL
bad.
show this week because I genuinely don't think I could have handled it.
It was hard enough being on the pod this week. I've got to be honest. Like going on the pod this week, I was like, it's one of those weeks, isn't it, where you have mine wasn't that bad. I mean, it was quite bad, but it wasn't that bad. And I just was like, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, what do you even say when you have that bad when it's that bad a game week for everyone?
I know.
What do you even say?
Crazy.
You just have to park it and move on.
Thanks, Greg Frost. 65 points guaranteed this week. Yeah, maybe. I'll probably get
more than
65.
that.
Everyone else will get 120. That seems to be the way.
Imagine
my-
if you got 100 club this week. That'd make you feel so much
can't-
better.
I'm
Do you think they'd bring it up in the newspaper again?
I'm bringing in Livramento and Martinelli. I don't think I'm going to be hitting 100, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, good luck, David. He'll be editing this stream into a podcast version. If you are listening to this on podcast version, you've missed a lot of carnage. Do check in with us on a Friday at 4 p.m. You get to see lots of tech issues and our lovely faces. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one. But Sam, enjoy the birthday party tomorrow, and we'll be back
Will do.
next week. We're doing an international break one we normally do, so yeah, we'll be back next week.
Yeah, but it'll have to be when I get back from Liverpool, so it might still be hungover.
Oh, fun! And I'll be I'll be nice and fresh, fresh faced.
Just be me, absolutely still steaming.
God, I remember my train back from Manchester last year. I was so bad. And I remember the train was absolutely packed.
It was
well,
packed.
But I managed to get a
train,
seat.
Weren't we?
Yeah, I managed to get a seat somehow.
So luckily for me, Lee's going up for a work trip the day before, so I just get to drive home from Liverpool as a passenger in his car. I don't have to get the train
so nice.
back.
Yeah,
so just
nice.
get the train up and then we'll drive back together. So
nice.
There'll be multiple stops at the service stations all the way back down the motorway.
I don't envy Lee in that situation, not going to lie.
No, he's got to deal with me.
Yeah.
Although he did know what he was getting himself into.
And drive. The drive back from Liverpool was going to be savage as well if he's had a few. But yeah, anyway, right.
He won't. He'll be sensible.
Will he? Okay, that's good. Cool,
well,
right.
Either that or I will.
Yeah, we will see you all next
right,
week
guys.
then. Have a good game week and yeah, speak to you all very soon.
Bye, guys.